to the video. Before we begin, if not already, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. And click the bell icon to receive notifications when I upload. Comment your little heart out. And most of all, please enjoy. Now back to the video. 'Twas the night before Christmas, with laughter and cheer, but Art the Clown lingered, his presence severe. The tree softly twinkled, the stockings hung tight, unaware of the jester who prowled in the night. A girl, barely stirring, crept out into the hall, drawn by a sound both faint and so small. By the glow of the tree she stifled a scream, for Art stood there grinning, his axe a-gleaming. The boy lay asleep, his dream soft and sweet, unaware of the doom that crept at his feet. Art loomed by his bedside, his grin wide and vile, and raised his sharp axe with a slow, giddy smile. The father lay peaceful, his breath slow and deep, while beside him his wife remained lost in her sleep. Art crept even closer, his axe held up high, and split the man's dreams with one swing. Goodbye! The mother, now awake, this must be a dream, but Art only laughed at her desperate scream. Her fight was in vain, her cries turned to hush, and her life ended swiftly in a crimson rush. The daughter, so small, now cowered in affright, her breath held so tight in the pale Christmas light. Art took his time, savoring the thrill, before silence returned and the house grew still. At the tables he sat, his spree now complete, enjoying their cookies, a holiday treat. With milk in his hand and a smile oh so wide, Art toasted his carnage, the joy of Yuletide. This is Terrifier 3.
Send in the clowns.
If you remember back from Terrifier 2, Art was defeated when Sienna chopped his head off with her special Clown Ex Machina magic sword. And that's where we lead into here. Somehow Art the Clown's head escaped. Victoria gives birth to Art's head. Probably best you don't ask questions. Art's body is still fully capable of killing a cop sent to respond, but his head is kinda needed to blend in. Yep, nothing to see here. Original survivor Victoria from Terrifier 1 is locked up in an asylum since Art ate her face. Our nurse goes to check on Victoria, and Victoria is now possessed by the pale little girl. We're not going to see that pale little girl anymore. An orderly arrives too late to help. Art's head is feeding on the nurse, and Art's body is back. Art's head is back where it belongs, and he goes on a trip with his bestie. Art the Clown is down with public transportation, so he's not all bad. Along the way, he meets a guy in a fresh Art the Clown costume. How lucky is that? Could have been worse. He could have ran into someone who was in a sexy Art the Clown costume, and that would have made a different movie, wouldn't it? But you can kind of guess where this is going. They hold up in an abandoned building, and they both kind of go dormant. Art sits in a chair, Victoria chills in the tub after slashing herself, and all is quiet. 5 years later, Sienna checks herself out of the hospital after getting her marbles in order. She goes to stay with her Aunt Jess, her husband Greg, and their daughter Gabby. Gabby adores and idolizes Sienna, but she has no idea what Sienna went through in the last movie.
Looking forward to the best Christmas ever.
2 demolition workers arrive at that abandoned house, and they wake up Art and Vicky. One gets stabbed in the neck, and Art scalps the other guy. Whew, if you like scalpings, this is your movie. Sienna's settling in with her new foster fam. She might have been released a bit early. She's having hallucinations of her dead friends at the table, where they eat rice.
Don't pass the rice, I'm not gonna leave. Pass the rice! Pass the rice! Pass the rice!
Pass the rice, God. Sienna's younger brother, Jonathan, is now in college trying to move on with his life and put the whole clown thing behind him. Jonathan's kind of famous from the art incident, and his roommate Cole's girlfriend, Mia, is a podcaster who wants him on her true crime podcast.
I mean, the kid's just trying to move on.
Art comes to a bar with a mall Santa, and he's just so happy about it.
Hello. Hello.
It's in the bag.
He tells Santa what he wants, then he pees on his lap. He just makes a pest of himself, and everyone's way more tolerant of him. But just when they're about to kick him out, Art pulls out a gun and kills everyone else, and ties Santa to a chair. Art takes Santa's costume and kills him by spraying him with liquid nitrogen and smashing him into bits. Oh, did I say it kills him? No, it takes a little while. Then he scalps Santa's beard. Scalpings, man. Sienna takes Gabby to the mall, and she thinks she sees Art. Kinda, but it could be another hallucination. Sienna and John have lunch, but there's always podcasters, man.
You're Sienna Shaw.
John just wants to move on, but the questions come.
What I eat in the day just shows how you're coping, what you do on a daily basis, anything like that.
John still has theories. Demons need a vessel to exist in our world, so they kind of have to kill someone to take over. So now they have a new body to drive around our world.
It's over.
The mall has a new Santa. Yay! Art is surprisingly good at his job, despite looking like Art. He's a hit with the kids. But the parents are uncomfortable with Santa Clown. Art leaves willingly, but leaves his bag of toys behind.
Wonder what I got. Corey!
Looks like someone got a brand new hoverboard. Sienna goes back to the Terrifier to recover the magic sword that she used to stop Art last time where it got buried. Oh, she already got it. Okay, instead of an entire scene of Sienna driving over, digging up the sword, and driving back, we skip right to the end. She brings the sword home, disguised as a Christmas present. The kid who's known to snoop in Christmas presents will no way find it. Art goes to a frat party, and am I the only one who thinks Art would fit right in? Gabby snooped in Sienna's diary, which reads like the screenplay to Terrifier 2. It's okay, don't snoop anything else, especially that sword-shaped present under the tree. That mall bombing made the news. Tom Savini saw everything, dude.
Salt.
All right.
Okay, I saw it.
Sienna freaks out, but everyone thinks it's just an unrelated Die Hard. Uncle Greg leaves to pick up Jonathan because they're tired of Sienna's shit. Meanwhile, back at the dorm, Cole and Mia are washing up and getting down. But they're not alone. Remember, Art, more than 2 shakes, you're playing with it. Art pulls out a chainsaw. How am I going to describe this scene without YouTube freaking out? Art pulls out a chainsaw, and he horribly wounds Cole's hand and arm and leg. He starts crawling away, and then he just butchers Mia on the head across the, He p***s her right in the Cole is just dragging himself away, but Art takes the chainsaw and splits him where the Lord hit him. Guys, it's very graphic. You may cross your legs now. What time is it? Alright, and when it's all over, Art makes blood angels. They give Sienna something to help her relax, and she has this weird fever dream about her dad.
She's an angel warrior.
You see, he used to draw her comics, and created that warrior character that she dressed as in Terrifier 2. Sienna goes downstairs and finds Art and Victoria decorating Greg's decapitated and eviscerated body with ornaments. I guess the popcorn balls kept falling off. Art knocks her out with a mallet. She wakes up tied to a chair with someone's severed head on the table in front of her. They kind of insinuate it's Gabby's head, and they bring out Gabby's mom, who's also tied to a chair. And they kill Gabby's mom with a glass tube in her mouth, and they just start shoving rats through the tube down her throat. Victoria crams this crown of thorns on Sienna's head, but the savory imagery is not going to stop there. The good news, Gabby is alive. The bad news, that severed head, it belonged to Jonathan. Victoria wants to transfer her evil into Sienna. If you want to be evil on Earth, you may as well look good doing it. But Sienna is still too strong. They need to break her down even more. They threaten to kill Gabby right in front of her, which would probably do it, but Gabby suggests letting Sienna open one last Christmas gift. Just to make it interesting, Art breaks both of Sienna's hands, but she does get it open. The sword heals her injuries, remember? Sienna fights them back, decapitates Vicky, and while she's in an epic sword fight versus chainsaw fight with Art, Victoria's body releases this ooze that opens a portal to hell in the floor. You know, that old chestnut. When Sienna defeats Art in combat, Gabby falls into the portal and Sienna tries to save her, but Gabby's gone. The portal closes and Art gets away. Sienna pledges to save Gabby in the next movie. Art hops on a bus out of town and he's horny. That was Terrifier 3. Merry Christmas. Directed by Damien Leone, Terrifier 3 pushes Art the Clown's reign of terror to new heights, delivering an unrelenting and grotesque spectacle that will leave my hands weak. The film's shocking gore and dark humor with practical effects that are both disturbingly realistic and impressively inventive and twisted. However, the excess might feel gratuitous to some viewers, especially those unaccustomed to this series' no-holds-barred approach. The violence in the Terrifier movies are just their own level. You gotta be ready for it. Rather than a typical final girl, Sienna is still just a badass. Killing off her brother was a bold choice, raises the stakes, and isolates her further on her mission to save Gabby. In the next movie, Sienna's connection to Art continues to deepen the armor, sword, her father. We get more pieces of the puzzle, but we're still gonna have to wait for part 4, which is confirmed in production. I'm happy about that. I hate being left on a cliffhanger. David Howard Thornton's performance remains the heart of the series, combining unnerving physicality with a twisted sense of glee. The fact that he never makes a sound is just so disturbing. Its use of a festive holiday setting provides an unsettling contrast to the grisly carnage. We call it the Die Hard effect. This film is not without flaws. Plot is straightforward to the point of being kind of predictable. The relentless violence can feel overwhelming, leaving little room to catch your breath. Art's targeting of kids may turn off some people, but come on. Art the Clown is a vicious monster. If a child isn't safe, what chance does anyone else have? Overall, Terrifier 3 is a love letter to fans of extreme horror, and it doesn't aim to reinvent the genre, but rather perfect its own brand of relentless, visceral scares. If you followed Art the Clown this far, this installment won't disappoint. Terrifier 3 is 4 Bs. The kills are the centerpiece of the movie, and let's be honest, the series. Each more gruesome than the next, where no one is safe and nothing is sacred. I can only dread what comes next. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment the bell, the usual YouTube stuff. This is theNewBee, and I'll see you later, kids. Merry Christmas, everyone, and I'll see you next year. Toodles.
Thank you.